Hi, my name is Alexandra, and my TED Talk is Generation Z's Transformational Ego. There's so much focus on the fact that Generation A is going to save the world, no one focuses on who is responsible for their potential success. Generation Z. Older Americans today tend to believe Gen Z to be one of the most inefficient generations, but in truth, they will be the most pragmatic generation in their households, an adroit partner in combination to setting better standards within relationships and overall diversifying their families. Unlike generations before them, Gen Z will prioritize different aspects of health within their family to previous generations. An article written by Nico Botanzo states, Gen Z has been at the forefront for advocating for mental health and open communication. With 70% of Gen Zers saying mental health needs the most attention, Gen Z can take those lived experiences to promote a culture of emotional transparency within their families, encouraging their children to express their feelings freely and fostering a supportive and understanding family environment. As every generation goes on, we learn more and more about how we work as humans. A lesson to Gen Z has been mental health. Unlike previous generations, they have the opportunities and resources to utilize the ability to perform themselves with self-care. What is most beautiful about this is their plan to carry their lessons into their parenting. They plan to promote and foster ideas of self-expression and growth within their families. A study by Samoya Takoi found these projections primarily affect the areas of values, norms, and future orientations, which in the eyes of adults appear increasingly uncertain. In this regard, young people are depicted within a framework of economic and existential fragility that sets them apart from previous generations. In the cognitive horizon of young people, a vision of the future emerges as indefinite and unpredictable, alternately open to any event or none at all. This text explains the behavioral patterns over being a parent or Gen Z's place in society is less predictable because of the lack of statistics regarding this topic. Needless to say, the stance over this topic is valid and already important asset to not only now but future generations. It may be portrayed as unpredictable or not tied to any outcome, but on the other hand, it can be found very reasonable over the information we already have regarding Gen Z. As we acknowledge the gaps of information, we can make predictions and observations already about the strengths and aspects within their health, which is being carried on to their parenting. Parent generations taught Gen Z everything they never want to do as a parent. Virtue writes insights on how Gen Z has realized that bringing experiences from their childhood is important. They respect the manners in which they were raised, but fewer than half of Gen Z parents, 47%, called their own parents the number one parenting style to avoid. Rather, their parents seem to model behaviors they now know to avoid, invariably guiding them on what not to do. This text goes in depth of how, unlike generations before, instead of reflecting the styles they were raised in, Gen Z is determined to turn it around. Most importantly, they learned the behaviors of their parents and chose to grow their children in a healthier parenting style. As we can learn from Samoya, there are already new models of behavior within Gen Z families that already develop a better understanding on how to link each family as a whole. Many lessons are being learned within their parents' generations that they are determined to eliminate when raising new generations such as Generation Alpha. Facing multiple economic challenges and higher poverty levels contribute to their worries and focus over financial stability. Financial mindedness is another core characteristic of Gen Z. Many Gen Zers grew up watching their parents take huge financial hits during the Great Recession. Having witnessed their parents' struggles, this generation is driven by pragmatism and security. Especially during COVID-19, Gen Z witnessed unattainable hardships within their family and led them to be more financially conscious. This generation is said to be one of the most globally connected thanks to the internet and social media. Tracy Francis wrote in the article, they continually flow between communities that promote their causes by exploiting the high levels of mobilization technology makes everything possible. Gen Zers value online communities because they allow people of different economic circumstances to connect and mobilize around causes and interests. Technology allows Gen Z to connect in various ways. For one, a workspace can be advanced through technology, Zoom calls, conferences over the phone, information exchange through emails, and so much more, allowing romantic connections through different playmores and even businesses through LinkedIn. In an article by Akoya, she writes, Gen Z had what boomers never had the ability to do: communicate openly and honestly about their thoughts, feelings, and experiences with tens, hundreds, thousands, even millions of other people experiencing similar upheavals. Gen Z is the first generation to have access to every perspective. The first generation where almost no traumatic or unpleasant experience was isolated, unrelatable, or unique. The first generation of global community. Social media and the internet has taught society, specifically new generations, how to communicate better. It even taught them new vocabulary and information over needed sources. A needed source might be a family that may need a therapist, the nearest changing stations, activities, and information regarding health. Keying global community is such an efficient phrase in naming the community online. The internet allows you to immerse yourself in many different atmospheres, near and far. The internet and social media will guide their global influences and enhance them to display more enriched mindsets because of their openness to diverse experiences and perspectives. Gen Z is said to be one of the most diversified groups yet. In reference to Appendix A is a chart for the information given by Kim Parker and Ruth and Gilnick. They show us Gen Z is changing statistics on racial and ethnic makeup in America. Majority, 52, are non-Hispanic, white, 14 Black, 6 Asian, and 5 other races. More diverse groups are growing in numbers. Diversity is good because it exposes people to a wide array of backgrounds and encourages commitment of pluralism. Being a member of a more diverse generation increases the probability of regular social interactions with people who do not share your racial or religious background, sexual identity, or sexual orientation. This furthers the knowledge of openness within families. Laura Freeman-Senji writes that there is a general pattern of evidence in multiple studies that conclude children who stably live with two biological married parents experience better health and well-being. Although there is limited information, the available information suggests that children under married same-sex couples share similar counterparts and provide the same positive health and mental benefits. As society recognizes different relationships, all kinds of relationships will be resented within families. No matter the sexual orientation of the couple leading their family, their children will still strive. Through their varied experiences and ideas, they will set a strong foundation within their relationships. Gen Z is projected to have the most successful marriages and lower divorce rates. Because Gen Z focuses more on mental and physical health within themselves, they strengthen healthy relationships with others. This is what makes them unique to prior generations in their relationships. Paul C. Bruson, Tinder's global expert in relationship insights, told the New York Post, because of the emphasis Gen Z places on mental health and establishing boundaries, Bruson says he predicts that when they do decide to marry, having these priorities will pave the way for them to experience more successful marriages than any other generation and lower divorce rates. Gen Z learned in order to be efficient within a relationship, they have to first be efficient in themselves. Statistics already display the way they are dating now is so much unique to before. They are developing habits that are healthy, which build stronger and lasting relationships. An article by Watkins states, Bruson says this because he has seen that Gen Z values crafting living a fulfilled life for themselves with an emphasis on empathy and clear communication than previous generations. They will redefine what it means to be a man. Gen Z challenges traditional masculinity by modeling empathy and emotional intelligence for future generations. Gen Z daters are more likely, according to Bruson, to date outside of their immediate social circles, whether it is racial, religious, or international backgrounds. Especially when viewing the relationship in parent generations, they lack communication and basic empathy. Generation Z is also more likely to form relationships that extend past their communities. Because they are building such a unique unit, they learn so much from another and different ideas rooted throughout the world. Gen Z builds relationships that not only strengthen themselves, but set an example for future generations. As we bring this to an end, Generation Z is a generation that is far different from their parents in the way they hold their values, completely changing previous statistics and transforming the desirability in having a family and relationships. This will lead to Gen Z as one of the healthiest and best parent generations of our time.